What's going on, fam? I'm hoping you're having a great and blessed day. So we just had the live stream happen. I went live for it to react to everything that they showed. Overall, it was a good live stream. I'm going to give you the quick and dirty what you need to know, just so that way you have an idea of what's happening in part 2. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, drop a like, sub if you're new, join the FPG fam. I would love to have you stick around. Thank you guys so much for all the support. So of course, the highlight of this new update for part 2 is going to be Chizuru. She's going to be Void. She's going to be Psionic. For the most part, she does look really strong. We're going to get into that in just a moment. This is the special lobby animation for her. Looks great. I'm definitely going to be picking that up day one, frame one. We'll go over the animations right here. Once again, she looks good. She looks strong. By far one of the coolest old animations in the game, by the way. So very cool. Like with most new characters, she's going to have a pretty unique mechanic, which is essentially revolved around her cursed shackles in conjunction with her will-o-wisp. So essentially, if you get 5 will-o-wisp, you'll then get Shadow of the Moon. And then from there, you can get 5 will-o-wisp to get Shadow of the Moon plus. And pretty much it's essentially surrounded, or from what it seems or appears to be, her gameplay surrounding around getting Shadow of the Moon plus, because that's where she's going to be doing most of the damage. And each attack card that's used gives you will-o-wisp. So we're going to talk about her partners or teammates here in just a second, but it looks like characters or combatants that can do multiple attacks in one turn are going to be the most beneficial partners for her, because then that allows you to get more will-o-wisp, with then in turn allows you to get Shadow of the Moon, and then furthermore get Shadow of the Moon plus. And that seems to be the loop of her gameplay, what you essentially want to get. Now, what's very unique about her is that it appears that you can't gain more AP to be able to utilize that function or cards. So it seems as if you want to have combatants that have very AP efficient decks, 0 cost, hence the reason why they showed Tressa, Ray, Cassius is going to be another good one, I think. But we'll go into that here more in just a second. But going over more of the card effects, so she has Bind. When bind cards of this unit are in hand, sack into 1 card. If bind is 3 or higher, change into Shadow of the Moon plus. When using cards, stack, reset, max 5 stacks. So it looks like bind is 3 or higher, change to Shadow of the Moon plus. So it looks like you only need 3 to get Shadow of the Moon plus, and you can get 5 stacks. Inhibit, this is one of the effects, cannot gain AP except at the start of turn or on Ravage. Add 1 hit to Shadow of the Moon plus. So Chizuru also seems to be very multi-hit faceted as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of her cards have multi-hits. We'll go over her cards here in just a second, as well as a lot of unique effects like initiation, haste, retain. Like, she has a lot of those just built into her base kit, which is pretty unique. Curse Shackles. When an ally uses an attack card other than bind card on the target with Curse Shackle, Chizuru gains 1 Will-O-Wisp, which is what we were talking about. When applied to a different target, removed Curse Shackles. Will-O-Wisp, 5 stacks of Will-O-Wisp creates 1 Shadow the Moon card. And then upon activation, decreases Will-O-Wisp by 5. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. Getting those Will-O-Wisp based off of your attack cards then gives you Shadow of the Moon. You get Shadow of the Moon plus. And then that's where you're going to be able to do lots of damage. So very, very unique kit. It seems her kit's going to be fun to play around with and to utilize. Now, unfortunately, in this live stream, they didn't show any epiphanies. Unfortunate, but I understand why. Might take too long. So we'll have to wait until she's probably in game to see epiphanies. But here are her base cards. So the usual, and then Karmic Flames, 100% damage, 1 Curse Shackle. Curse Shackles add an additional hit. And this is an initiation card. So it's going to be fun to decide what initiation cards you're going to use, because she has a lot of them just based off of, well, not a lot, excuse me, she has 2 just right off the bat, right? But that's unique. You usually don't see a lot of characters or combatants with initiation cards in general unless they epiphany. So that's interesting. Also, her basic is ×2, 60% ×2 damage. Tsukiyomi, her skill card, 0 cost. 2 Will-O-Wisp for each hit of the next attack card of this unit used. So this allows you to get Will-O-Wisp easier, which is going to be nice. And then Bound at Dust, this is an upgrade. Initiation, once again, unique. At the start of the turn, gain Inhibit, which we just talked about. Won't allow you to gain AP. Decrease cost by 1. So I imagine it's going to be 0 cost. Until one random cards of the other combatants are used. So this is a very interesting upgrade card right here. And then Oni Hunt, it's a haste card, which is actually really nice. I usually, once again, don't see these until an epiphany. So having this just base is really nice. 60% ×3 damage, 30% damage amount to the next bind card used. And then you have the Shadow of the Moon. Once again, this is going to be what her gameplay centered around. The bind, retain. So these are the bind cards that they're talking about. And this is retain. 50% damage plus 20% damage amount for each bind stack. And I believe we can get how many bind stacks? So when bind cards of this unit are in hand, stack into 1 card. If bind is 3 or higher, change into Shadow Moon plus when using card stack resets max. Okay, so we can get 5. So we can get 5, bind 3, retain, 70% damage. So this is Shadow of the Moon plus ×2. This also heals 5% of max HP, 20% damage amount for each bind stack. So you can see how this card's going to be very hard hitting. Chizuru is going to be able to hit pretty hard, single target. So you're going to want to use Bound of Dusk, get your Will-O-Wisp, and then be able to get multi-hits, and then be able to do the most amount of damage based off of your bind stacks. So, and your Curse Shackles. So it's going to be very interesting to go ahead and pair. And it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun to use, a lot of fun to play around with. If we move on from there, we do have her Ego skill. Essentially, this is going to be one big nuke. So it's a 5 coster, 250% damage, and it's going to be single target for each Shadow of the Moon created. 50% damage amount, max 10. Hence another reason why you want to get Shadow of the Moon. Hence the reason why her gameplay is centered around that. So you can get max stacks. So you just kind of hold on to this until you get the max stacks. And then you nuke. I believe it's going to be about 750% damage because it's an additional 500% on top of the 250. Going to be pretty nutty, right? And then here are her egos. I think her egos are actually really good. Not just like quality of life updates like with Yuki. They're actually very beneficial. First one, 20% damage amount to Shadow of the Moon plus. Once again, something that you want to do anyways. And an additional 3%. So now you get an 8% recover your max HP. This first one's huge. Super solid. More damage on what you want to do anyways. And then more HP recovery. Level 2, when using Shadow of the Moon plus card, create 1 Shadow of the Moon card. Insane. This is just a loop that you can do. I think if you get 1 and 2, you can stop there. Honestly, I think 1 and 2 and you're good. I don't think you need any egos with her, but I'm saying if you're going to go for it, get to E2 and then you're good, right? But if you do get 3, once again, huge 150% damage amount to Moonlight of High Tide, insane. Level 4, Shadow of the Moon is created, gain 1 Lunar Shard, and then Lunar Shard 10% damage amount to Chizuru's attack card, max 3 sacks. Nutty. This is just basic upgrades, and then level 6 change damage amount, increase effect of Lunar Shard to 15% instead of 10. And you get an additional hit count of Shadow of the Moon plus cards. So 6 is insane as well. But once again, I think you only need to get to 2. If you're going to go for egos at all, which once again, just to reiterate, I don't think she needs egos. For her partner is going to be best in slot from what I can see. Far more beneficial than West Makot for Yuki. I don't know. They did Yuki dirty. The more I see Chizuru, the more I think they did Yuki dirty, but it is what it is. Tranquil Marker, the assigned command's attack is increased by 8 to 16%. That's pretty much the bear. Every time assigned command's card stacks 5 to 10% attack card damage amount, max 3 stacks. Every time one attack card type used by the assigned command deals 3 hits, 30 to 60% fixed damage to the target. Once again, this just all plays into what she wants to do anyways. And once again, harkens back to her Shadow of the Moon plus card, right? Multi-hits and all that. Her ego skills super solid as well. 4 ego points, kind of high cost for a partner, but still, I think worth. 200% damage AoE. Apply Fierce Winds effect. Fierce Wind, 50% damage amount to attack cards of the assigned command for 1 turn. So essentially, you could pop this. If you have like the perfect setup, pop this, and then you're just going to be doing massive amount of damage with Chizuru. So really solid. Now we have the partners. Don't take into account Luke being Lucas with passion and Nia not having any headphones. Massive rip in the chat. Tressa is going to be, so far from what I can see, best in slot with Chizuru because of the shadow daggers. The amount of shadow, if you have the right deck with Tressa, you can have anywhere from 8 to 9 shadow daggers. You pop them all off. Will-O-Wisp, everything. Shadow Moon plus, everything. 0 cost. Nutty, right? Absolutely nutty. Ray going to be able to boost attack. Be able to draw. Low cost. Ray's going to be super solid. This team's going to be really good. Really good. Then the second one, like I talked about, Cassius. Low cost, draw. Be able to attack himself. 0 cost on his cards. Nice. Luke, once again, being able to draw his own cards, low cost, be able to do attacks, and then benefits Chizuru. So Luke's stonks have gone up even more, and I think people are really seeing how good Luke is. And then this team is very interesting, but I think it's going to be solid. And I do want to make Yuki and Chizuru work because the Yuki slander is real. I think it could work out, though, because you could do Prepare to Subdue. You do have 0 cost attack cards on her basic. And also on her Flash Slash, you can have a 0 cost there. You can have multiple pulls with Prepare to Subdue, so you can get multiple Yuki cards. And Yuki's AoE, while Chizuru's single target, so there could be some synergy there as well. Nia for the draws, also, I mean, yeah, just mainly the draw power. I think they did Nia because it pairs with Yuki really well, so like the Yuki Nia, and then Chizuru. It could work. It definitely can work. So I'm gonna definitely try that team out. They have more gameplay here, but it's just more of the same of what they were doing, so we're not gonna showcase that. More of the same. Here we're gonna be getting a I think new story update. Very nice stuff. I found this to be very cool. So you're gonna be able to, throughout laboratory, throughout the chaos, in the middle of it, pick up fate cards. I think that's pretty cool. One of them is gonna be Closure. Decrease turn draw by 1. At the start of turn, draw 1 attack card and increases damage amount by 20% until used. So this can stack and be able to nuke with that. Liberation. At the start of battle, create 2 ambush attack cards. We don't know what the ambush attack cards do. At least I don't. If you know, let me know. But I thought that's pretty cool to be able to just pick these up in the middle of your run. Just makes the run a little more interesting while you're going through it. We do have a new secret boss, and it appears that this is going to happen after you clear the interior, if I'm understanding this correctly. Don't know what it drops. Don't know if it's going to be beneficial. I don't know if this is going to be a monster card that drops. I don't know if you're going to get some unique mythic gear from this. I don't know. I have no clue. We'll just have to wait and see. But clearing the interior allows entry to the core of Discord. So it sounds like a interior of the interior. Stronger hidden bosses appear as a result of story progression. So once you clear the interior, I don't know if you go straight into this boss fight or if you go into another chaos run, interior of the interior, and then get to this boss. So if it's another like run, I'm interested to see like what other, if you get more epiphanies, if you get more divine epiphanies, if you get more the ability to do more removals. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see that, but I'm all about it. This is really cool. They're just bringing over a lot of what we have in Laboratory Zero to the regular Codex. So dimensional tunnels are now going to appear. You're going to be able to do a lot of the season content in Codex. Forbidden cards are going to be there as well, so you can pick them all up. So you don't have to feel the need to just farm Laboratory Zero the entire time. It's now going to be universal throughout, you know, Codex and everything. It's very cool. Sweet Dream is opening up. We knew about this. It's going to be the new boss, the 9 out of 9. Probably going to be very unfun to play because he takes your cards. And then we do have the Great Rift. This is going to be the leaderboard one. What's very cool is you're going to have 2 teams, Vanguard and Rearguard. Vanguard's going to be the one that you utilize first. You want to try and clear it as fast as possible or within the least amount of turns. And that leaves more turns for your Rearguard. So interested to see how that's going to be done. Once again, leaderboard. So people are going to be grinding this like crazy. It's going to be very fun. First half runs for 3 weeks, 3rd to the 24th. And then you're going to get rewards and stuff for it. So if not for anything, just do it for the rewards. What's very cool to see, though, is that they're all order and there's multiple enemies. So maybe Yuki's going to be able to shine here. Finally, the Yuki slander might be diminished slightly. Probably not, but very cool nonetheless. So that's going to be a great riff with the leaderboards and everything. Now, if I was to complain about anything, I thought the entire update was solid. I thought it was a massive W all around. If I was to complain about anything, it's this Blackhorn shop. I love the idea of a new shop. I love the idea of being able to get materials in other places. You'll be able to get more materials. It's the contents within the shop. Everything is fine here. My only issue is that if you're going to give 5 standard anchors, why not have 5 limited anchors? Don't understand why that's not a thing. Should be. Also, the multi-dimensional alignment material. I've talked about this in the 5 things that I would change within CZN, and adding more areas to get the multi-dimensional material for your memory fragments was one of them. And once again, it's not in the Blackhorn shop. Why it's not, I have no idea. It should be, in my opinion. That's the only thing I would complain about. This is huge. Second supply store. We're going to be able to get the dupe for the dupe material to be able to manifest ego one of your combatants. I think this is huge for 6,000. It's not bad at all. Once again, 5 standard. Why not 5 limited? And then they have the multi-dimensional here. Why not have it in the Blackhorn shop? But nonetheless, very cool, right? Very cool. Something that was pointed out during the live stream, I think by Genizad, massive shout out, is the characters here. Obviously, this is Narha, but this character in the middle and this one, I don't think we've seen. I think we might have seen this one right here. I think we've seen her somewhere, but I'm not entirely too sure. This one in the middle, she looks incredibly cool just because of the sword. But keep that in mind. Future new characters will also be able to manifest ego using Omega Core. So you could probably hold on to this, right? I don't think there's going to be a limit on when you have to use it. So you could decide who you want to use it on. Very cool, right? So that's a massive W. And another huge announcement, new memory fragment set. Orb of Inhibition. This is obviously going to be best in slot for Chizuru. Now, some people are trying to decide if 222 is still going to be the best for her. I honestly think this is just going to be best, but that's just my opinion. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to have to, I will have to farm this and test it out. And then we have an interesting judgment set here. 50% damage amount that instinct cards use against ravaged targets. This one seemed very random, but in my chat, in my live stream, somebody said that Serenial, which is, we know, going to be the next character after Chizuru, is going to be instinct. Now, that's not confirmed, but it's only all but confirmed due to this set. Like, why bring this set out? It seems very random unless Serenial is going to be instinct, right? And one that can break really well, right? Like Mei Lin, but Mei Lin's passion. So it's like, it doesn't seem why this would be for Mei Lin. And no other instinct character really breaks like that. I mean, you got Khalib, you got Orlea, you got Cassius, you got Nia. Like, none of those characters are really break characters to take advantage of this fully. So Serenial could be instinct. It'll be very interesting to see, right? Moving on from there, we did have this Unigram. It is what it is. You can message your combatants. Very cool. Growth updates. This is massive. Less to do more, essentially. So it's going to take less to level up characters. Very nice. Something that we're looking for. Quick formation improvement. This is simply where you're going to be able to mass change, you know, teams. That's huge. QOL. And then other QOL. One of the big ones is the display faint memories while you're in the chaos. That's huge. Unidentified areas, dimensional tunnels and stuff are now always visible on the minimap. That's massive. Voice lines for delaying shop, improved text clarity for some equipment items, added choice to obtain gift items in certain policies. These are all really good stuff, right? Improved animation for breakdown state, improved divine representative. So we're getting, instead of the 2-3 normal battles for 1 HP monsters, so you can clear faster. Added a current indicator to the bottom, turn indicator to the bottom. That's cool. And then added turn indicator for half during Basin of Hyperspace, so you know how many turns. All massive improvements. Obviously, there's a lot more that can be done, but for in the middle of a season, part 2, I think that's really good. And then we have the Chasing of the Star event. This is nice, right? We got Narha here, which is very interesting. I wonder if Narha is going to be next after Chizuru. That would be a massive turn of events, but I don't think so. It should be, even though we do know Narha's instinct. Oh my goodness, Narha next. That's interesting. If it's not Serenial and it's Narha, that would make sense because Narha is instinct. We know that from the website, being able to see her cards. Other than that, they did show the breakdown for Chizuru, which is pretty cool. We can see that really quickly. Fob's crazy. That breakdown's pretty cool. This breakdown is just wild. They did the most with that one. And then the enemy attacking here for the kill, that's the new boss enemy. So overall, super solid, right? Super solid. This was a longer video than I anticipated it. I wanted it to be quick and dirty. It was not. I'm gonna get on out of here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody. Call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.